With the new year right around the corner, many are now thinking about their New Year's resolutions. Joining me to talk about addictions and ways to kick bad habits is Trent Stephenson with Solutions Recovery Center. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Doing all right.
So let's start with a bad habit or a habit that a lot of people try to kick, smoking. Do you have any tips for people?
I think if you tried to quit smoking last year, you should look at what was lacking in your plan last year. Especially it being the holidays, it's the end of the year, people kind of take inventory last year and say, well, what do I want from there to carry on, and what could I leave behind? So with smoking, it's something that a lot of people want to leave behind, and instead of just wanting to do that, you got to think, well, what makes me use, and is it just a coping mechanism? Or is it something that causes me anxiety if I don't have it?
What does make something like smoking and other addictions so hard to kick?
I think the thing that makes it the hardest for people to kick is that it starts as something you do to deal with something else and distract and make you feel better. And eventually it becomes something that without, you feel terrible and you can't feel normal. So a lot of times it's just the question of how much anxiety does it cause me to not have it.
So what exactly then defines an addiction versus just, you know, a habit?
How much time you got? There's a lot of different things. I think the first is its effect on someone's life. There's a lot of chronic effects. With smoking, obviously the health aspect is very big. Other aspects sometimes are social. Certain behaviors affect our relationships, affect our workplace, and keep us from, you know, having the freedom to make the choices we want to make.
So, and then with addictions, this can be more than just smoking, more than drugs, more than alcohol, right? You can have other kinds of addictions.
Gambling is an addiction that's a process addiction. It affects the brain in a way where it's very similar to an ingested substance, and people become addicted to it, and they, you know, can lose everything. Lose the house is the saying. But even with other things, there are positive ones that people might not be able to recognize as an addiction, whether it's exercise or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. And even with those, excess, you know, anything in excess is a bad thing, is what they say, I think. And it's definitely true of any kind of disease level addiction, where without it, you can't function, and even with it, it's way too much.
So when it comes to some of these non-drug and alcohol addictions, I mean, why is it important to stop and pay attention to all of them? Really, all addictions. Why is it important to really stop it and face it and try to move forward?
I think the freedom is the biggest aspect. People don't like that they don't have that choice, that they can't wake up and go without a cup of coffee and not feel crazy. And even for things like a shopping addiction, the way it affects you and the way it makes you have a lot of things in your life that you don't need, don't want, and your loved ones know that too. And the way it affects relationships is I think often what gets people to come to our center like this time of year, because you're around family and they're able to see, like, you're not yourself, and this is not making you happy. So what can we do to make next year absent of this thing, where you can be happy and be the person that we love?
Thank you so much for being here. We've got Trent Stephenson from Solutions Recovery Center, and stick around because we'll be back with more.